So let's move on to the next question, guys. In this question, we are given that the sum of n consecutive positive integers is 45. So n consecutive positive integers, maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe whatever x, like n, that is 45, and we have to compare n with 5, right? So we know that the sum is equals to how much? The sum is 45, right? Now tell me one thing, you just think very logically, like for 2 seconds in your mind. So you will be able to realize that, for example, 22 and 23 sums to 45 and they are also consecutive, right? So if you take the number 22 plus 23, so the sum is 45, right? 22 plus 23, the sum is 45, and they are also consecutive, 22 and 23, right? So we have to tell sum of n consecutive positive integers. So what is n in this case? N in this case becomes how much? 2, because two consecutive integers, right? 22 and 23. So in this case, n becomes 2. I hope this should be fine, because two consecutive integers are there, 22 and 23, and their sum is 45, so n becomes 2, right? Perfect. Now tell me one thing. That we also know that the sum of n consecutive integers starting from 1 is what? For example, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 up to n. The sum of n consecutive integers starting from 1 is what? N plus 1 upon 2. I hope this should be very clear, right? See, there is a difference between this and this. This is saying sum of n consecutive integers. So it can start from 1 or it may not start from 1. For example, 22, 23. This is not starting from 1. These are two numbers, 22 and the other number is 23, and their sum is 45. But this formula is only applicable when we have any series starting from 1. So 1 plus 2 plus 3, or 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4, or 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 up to 100, whatever. So any series which contains consecutive numbers starting from 1, then this formula is valid, right? So let's suppose that this sum is equals to this. For example, so n plus 1 upon 2 is equals to 45. So this will become 90, right? Like this is equals to 45. So n plus 1 will become 90, right? Now can you think of two numbers such that their product is 90? Yes, we can, right? If you use a little bit of a brain, you will realize that if n is 9, so what will be n plus 1? N plus 1 will be 10, and 9 into 10 is 90, right? What does this mean? This means that the value of n is 9, right? So if you take 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 up to plus 9, right? Then this answer will become what? 45. I hope this should be very clear, right? And that is what we wanted to find. We wanted to find n consecutive integers such that the sum is 45. So 1 plus 2 plus 3, these are 9 consecutive integers such that the sum is 45. So in this case, the value of n becomes 9. So for one case, the value of n was 2, which was less than 5. So in this case, the answer becomes B. The value of n is 2 and 2 is less than 5. Or you can say 5 is greater than 2. So the answer is B. In this case, the value of n is 9, right? And 9 is greater than 5. So the answer becomes A, right? So sometimes the answer is B, sometimes the answer is A. So your final answer becomes what? D. I hope this should be clear. So I'll tell you once again what I did was, this was simple, right? 22, 23. So n is equals to 2. Now what I did over here is that we know that the formula for the sum of n consecutive integers starting from 1 is n plus 1 upon 2. So I tried my luck. I tried to make this equal to 45. that it is a possibility that 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 can be equal to 45. Let's try it out. Just, kind of hitting my luck. And so this turns out that n plus 1 is 90, 45 into 2. And this turns out that 9 into 10 is 90. So n can be equal to 9. That means 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 up to 9. If you do this, you will have 45 as the answer. That means 9 consecutive positive integers starting from 1. The sum is 45. This is one case. 2 consecutive integers, 22, 23. The sum is 45. N is equals to 2, the other case. So sometimes the answer is B, sometimes the answer is A. So your final answer is B. I hope this should be clear.